Hi everyone, my name is Anisa Uberoi. I'm a prosthetics and special effects makeup artist. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make scabs. I'm going to be showing you two methods of doing this. They're both extremely low budget, and of course you will need some makeup like a grease paint or something like that just to color the actual injury. Depending on what the injury actually is, you can add fake blood if you want to. You can make it at home. There are some very easy recipes on YouTube, or you could just order some from Amazon. That's what I do. The fake blood makes it look more realistic, but you don't necessarily have to use it. It's completely okay if you don't have any. I'm going to be switching to my overhead setup now so that you can see what I'm doing with my hands while I'm speaking, because this injury is going to be on the palm. So the first thing you want to look at is when someone falls, how would they actually fall? Where would they actually get hurt? So you want to look at the high points of the palm. It's not the center that's going to get hurt. It's more around here, maybe on top of the fingertips. That's where you're going to see the actual scrapes and scabs. So what you're going to need for this first method is baby powder, a sponge, some liquid latex in a container. This one that I have is from Kryolan, but the brand doesn't matter. You can buy it on Amazon. And then I have some cotton, which I've shredded up into these pieces, and I'll explain why I've done that in a bit. So before doing anything, I've just sketched out the outlines of where exactly I want my scabs to be, around the areas that would actually touch the ground if you were to fall. This middle part isn't really going to get very injured, but I'm just marking these out so that I know where exactly to put the scabs. You don't have to use a red pencil, this is just a lip liner, but it helps me later because I'm going to be putting red on top of it anyway. So I'm just going to dip this sponge into the liquid latex and start with this one, just going inside the lines. And I'm going to do these one by one so that the latex will grasp the cotton. So this is the piece that I've taken. It doesn't have to be exact. But as you can see, it's fitting pretty accurately in here. And then I'm just going to pull off the excess so that you get that nice texture. So now I'm going to go ahead and do all of these the exact same way that I did this one, and then I'm going to show you what to do after that. So now that we have the cotton in place in all of the areas that it needs to be in, I'm going to take more liquid latex on the sponge and seal in these areas with the cotton. So now that the liquid latex is dry and won't move out of place, I'm going to move on to coloring the scabs. For the actual scabs, we're going to use a very dark brown. I'm starting out with this lighter brown and dragging that over so that you can actually get the texture. Now I'm going to use a mixture of this dark maroon and this darker brown. So now I'm going to slowly start dragging, very gently, dragging the maroon color out of the scab so it starts to look like a scrape. And I'm making this extra harsh because it will be for stage. So if you want the people to see it, you're going to have to make it a little harsher than it really would be. And I'm going to do this around all of them. And then I'll add in a little red as well. So now I'm taking a little bit of red and I'm just gonna dab that on around all the areas that we already have this on. So before I move on to putting any blood, I'm going to powder the entire thing using this powder and this powder puff so that none of the coloring moves. So for the fake blood, I'm using the Meron Squirt blood. So this is a more runny blood. You can use a coagulated blood or something a lot thicker if you want it to stay in place, but I'm going to just add a little drop here. And then I'm actually taking this sponge that looks like this. It's got lots of holes in it. Dipping that into the blood and using that to make realistic scratches on the palm. And since this is the largest one, I'm just going to put some extra blood there. You don't have to. Again, this is from my reference image, so that's why I'm doing this, but just follow whatever your reference image has. So the first method, which is using cotton and liquid latex, is now complete. This is what it looks like. And now I'm going to start with the second method, which is coffee. Because I wanted to compare this quite accurately to the one with the coffee, all I've done is peel off all of the areas where I had the cotton with the liquid latex, and now I'm going to do the same method using coffee in those areas. But this is easier for me to show you the same thing with the same placement so that you can have a better idea of which one you'd like to choose. So for this method, I need a sponge, some liquid latex, and some coffee. Now, this is the texture of the coffee. I've ground it a little extra so that it becomes that scab texture. If you've ever had a scab, you know what texture it's supposed to be. And if you think that your coffee particles are too big, you can just grind that up a little bit more. So once again, I'm going to go area by area, applying the liquid latex first and then the coffee onto that. So I'm going to sprinkle the coffee and then press it down onto the area so that whatever sticks onto the latex will stick and the rest of it can just be brushed off. If you look at the texture up close, this already looks more realistic than the cotton. I prefer using this method, but if we just leave it like this, the coffee is going to flake off and it's going to fall all over the place. So to seal that in, I'm going to use more liquid latex and just go over that. So this is what it looks like up close after it's dried. The liquid latex will become transparent once it's dry. And I've sealed that actually with 2 layers instead of 1 like I did with the cotton, because you just don't want any of these flakes falling off anywhere. Now I can rub it and nothing will come off. Now I'm going to begin coloring this exactly the same way that I colored the previous one. So this is how the second method turned out. I definitely prefer this method. I think it looks a lot more realistic. You get uneven grains, which is exactly how a scab would look. I would say the most important part of both the cotton and the coffee methods is sealing that with the liquid latex right before you start coloring it, because that prevents all of this from being able to fall off in the middle of a performance. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please go watch my other videos. They're all linked under Anisa Uberoi on the blog. If you want to look at any of my other work, my Instagram is at Anisa Uberoi _makeup. I post a lot of my stuff on there, so if you're interested, then please check it out.